Hello, if you're new here, I'm Evie. If you're not, then you probably already know what time it is. I make a lot of art and book related videos, and today I'm back with another bookish related video. So if you didn't know, the season finale of the new Percy Jackson series is in 2 days ish from when I'm starting filming this video. So I figured what better time to make this video than nowish. Actually, a better time would have been like 6 weeks ago, but so today I'm going to be going through the Sea of Monsters book and rereading it, and then also going through each individual episode of the new Disney Plus show of Percy Jackson's, and going through and going to be really nitpicky and pointing out all the changes and differences between the book and the TV show. This is mainly because this is for a few reasons. One, my own personal reasons. I just want to do it myself, as a avid Percy Jackson reader. I really want to do it with season 3 because season 3 is my favorite book. I love the Titan's Curse so much. I love it religiously. I've reread it 2 or 3 times already. Um, like you know, it's a great book. I just love it. Okay. Um, but I figured I might as well do it for the other seasons as well. It would be just so random if I just did season 3. So I'm gonna start off with 2 because that's what's airing now. And then I'll do the first one after this if it gains lots of traction. Um, but yeah, I'm also doing this because my brother, um, he's currently reading The Titan's Curse, but I got him into Percy Jackson, and he's read Lightning Thief and Sea of Monsters, and we watch the shows together. And every time we watch the show together, he goes, "Avery, that's not like the books at all. That doesn't happen in the books." And I'm like, I know, chill, sweetie. So I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and then also for the people on TikTok who the book purists were like, "Oh my gosh, guys! Instead of doing this, they did that. Oh my gosh." Um, and I have a love hate relationship with adaptations, and also with this show. I'm more loving with the show, but when you have an adaptation, you are given a time frame for an inner monologue of a person over a certain amount of months, weeks that you can't exactly capture necessarily if you want to get all of their internal thoughts. Um, like so many things happen in these books. You're not gonna get every single little tiny detail Percy notices. It's not gonna all be adapted. And another reason why Percy Jackson has always been a book series and why some books are books is because some things you just cannot physically recreate and represent. Like the reason Disney movies are animated is because there was no technology and there was no possibility that they could make that in real life. Have you ever seen a fantasy animated movie, like a fantasy book? You can't fa- make that. Yeah, sure you can do with CGI and all that crazy stuff, but will it look good? Will it look good? Especially we're thinking all the way back early 2000s. Think about The Hobbit. There was no way in hell that was ever going to be a movie when it was released. No, it took them literally half a century to make the fucking Hobbit, to make the Lord of the Rings movies, because again they needed the technology to do it. Um, and still they don't. And still, while making this Percy Jackson show, they still don't have all of the time and technology to get everything done. And again, we are also keep in mind we are mad rushing um the Percy Jackson team. We're we need a new season every year. Blah, blah, blah. CGI takes time. It takes time, guys. Animation takes time. Um, I personally would have liked it better if the show was animated because there are things that it's you just physically can't have two humans doing that on screen. No matter how much CGI is involved, it's gonna look really uncomfortable and awkward, you know. Which is why, again, it was written as a book in the first place. Yeah, but I'm the kind of person that is very I see the world in all sorts of shades of gray. I'm not a black and white person, and I hate the concept of black and white thinking. It's no, two things can happen at the same time and be true. It's not just this or that. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about the scenes from the books they cut, the scenes that I think were realistic to cut, the scenes that I think they weren't realistic to cut, the scenes that they did add for just the new scene, the original scenes that are added in the books, if I think they were a good addition, bad addition, We're just gonna go through this, and I think I'm gonna do it. Um, I'm gonna try to do it episode for episode, but I may do the first 2 episodes combined. But I have to do something first and go down and break down how many chapters are in each episode. I also decided to make myself a little treat for this. I'll insert a clip after this while I'm, doing my calculations. But I also made myself some blondies because I need a treat when I'm snacking, when I'm eating, when I'm drawing. I need a treat. I need a snack. Okay, I'm starving. So I made myself some blondies, but I did this a couple weeks ago, and I think I'm just gonna do it ever since because I love it. Is I've been making a lot of blue food for whenever I watch Percy Jackson with my brother, just to like get into the Percy Jackson vibe. So I made blondies, but I put blue food dye in it, and I thought it was so ironic because in the show Percy's a blonde, so it's like blue blondies. I just thought I was the funniest person ever when I did that. Okay, but yeah, um, hopefully it's not gonna take me more than like 2-3 days to do this. I hope because um this book is so short, but also I'm not sure because I may end up splitting this video in half and posting the second half later because first of all the episodes aren't out. Second, I have to go through and compare every single all the major details. I want to try to do that compared to all the details that happen in the show. So it's like I have to be real thorough. I have to be real thorough, and it may not be as thorough as I'd like. But I'm gonna try my hardest, okay? I'm sorry. Also, shout out. Also, two things before we get started. Um, look at my new hair, guys. I love it. I have to shower later because it's like really straight right now. Because I've been mad brushing it. I'm like just like touching it because I love it. Um, but how do we feel about the mullet, guys? And then also for this video, I was like, I have to. I'm wearing my Camp Half Blood shirt. It's literally a Percy Jackson video. What? I have to wear the Percy Jackson shirt. Yeah, and let me insert a clip of me making my blue blondies for Percy. I calculated which chapters represent each episodes. So here I have episode 1 is chapters 1 through 5, episode 2 is chapters 6 and 7, episode 3 is chapters 8 through 10, episode 4 is chapter 11, episode 5 is chapter 12 through 14, episode 6 is chapter 15, episode 7 is chapters 16 and 17, and episode 8, which has not come out yet, covers episodes 18 through 20. And this may also may not be the exact chapter to episode ratio based on like what we actually see physically in the episodes, if that makes any sense. So I'll get to you on that when I actually finish reading and watching and comparing. But I have this notebook here. I don't know if I have my pen, but I figured if there's like anything significant to jot down, I could jot it down in this. But yeah, my cat is being a little prissy right now and is in my reading chair, so I'm gonna have to read in my bed, which is okay, but it's not the best for my back. And then after that, I'm just gonna read until dinner time. And then I've got to do some chores, get a shower, and then we'll pick up from there. So we'll see how much I end up reading. Okay, I've misplaced my mic. I do not know where it went, but that's okay. I only ended up reading 4 chapters before I had to go down for dinner. And then I went in the hot tub because my back really hurt. So far Percy just had his first empathy link dream with Grover, there is a very big difference between the dream in the book and the dream in the show, and also like Tyson's very different in the show and the book. So I'll get into that once I get to the episode. I'm gonna finish the chapters and jot down my notes and then talk about it while I'm watching the episode. That makes sense. Oh, also I wanted to show you guys my blue blondies. I put way too much food dye on them. They're really blue. The first time I made them, they were really cute because they was just like speckled, but also I didn't make them right. I didn't have enough butter in them. But I think this time I put too much butter and then I underbaked them.
Baking is like is a science, let me tell you.
Okay, I found the microphone, guys. Oh my god. Surprise, surprise. Let me just twist this chair. I don't know if it'll move. It's on a swivel, but my room isn't the biggest. Okay. I have my notebook and I have my book. So I finished all the chapters that consist in episode 1, essentially. And I'm about to start the chapters that consist for episode 2. But I'm not sure if I want to do that tonight because it's already 7 and I work tomorrow and I want to get like a good night's sleep. So I may read those tomorrow. The first 5 chapters were about 66 pages. And then the next chapters, or there's just 2 chapters, but there is also another 60 pages to read for that. And well, 60 pages, 60 or 40. Only 40 pages. Whoopsies, sorry. And well, 40 pages, it's not a lot. I don't know if I want to read 40 pages right now because I'm okay tired. So I think I'm gonna do my comparisons from episode 1 right now, and then we'll do episode 2 tomorrow, and then I'll upload this video, and I'll do it for every 2 episodes. Just because it takes me like a minute to like write down and then read the book and then write down the differences that I'm mainly noticing, and then I'm also gonna watch the episode and then say, changes, inclusions, blah blah blah. But yeah. Oh my gosh, I want to show you guys my bookmark that I'm using for this. For reading Percy Jackson. It's a really cute design. It's I don't remember the name of the painting, but it's a very famous print or like a painting. Um it used to have like a little tassel on the end, but I have cats and they ate it. They ate the tassel. Where's your whimsy? Anyways, I have this notebook. And in it I'm keeping track of all of this. So I have, the chapters and the episodes, and then I have in red, and then everything in black is all of the main changes that I've noticed so far from just reading the book. I will get more watching the video. I mean, watching the show, and I will be like, I don't know if what I'm gonna do first. If I'm gonna watch it and then talk to you guys, or talk to you guys about the changes and the inclusions as I watch it. Not sure. Not sure. I'll come back to you when I've decided. But yeah, also love the blue theme that I've got going on here. I am wearing my Camp Aperture under this, but I'm cold. Actually, it's freezing in my room, so I put on this like dark blue hoodie. And I'm in a blue chair with this blue thing. Even my notebook's blue. Come on, guys. And then yeah, sorry, I just took a shower and I want my hair to dry nicely, guys. Will it dry nicely? We'll see. Okay, before I get started watching the actual show, I just wanted to like say a few things. Like we said, a few like say what's already been like established in Percy Jackson kind of so far since this is the second book and season. I don't know why I didn't do the first book and season first, but Mama lazy. Oopsies. But so in the books, background characters are much more established. Especially like a lot of the background campers and a lot of stuff going on. And then also Percy, he knows of the Great Prophecy. He knows there is a Great Prophecy, and he knows that it's child, God of the youngest three. There's a reason that they can't have why Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon were banned from having children. He knows that there's a prophecy that banned them from having children. He knows it's the Great Prophecy, but he doesn't know what the prophecy is necessarily about. Which is something that they shouldn't talk about in season 1. They kind of bring it up in season 2, and they just kind of like dive right into it. It's not like Percy's introduced like, oh, you're a part of a prophecy. Like like a really, really big one that could change the fate of the world. It's like, oh, thanks, Jill, and he like goes on his first quest like with this Lumina and it's really sad. But he knows about this, but like as the book goes on, he learns more and more from both Chiron and Annabeth, and like as the stuff goes on. But yeah, I'm gonna start the episode now. Also, more on this being an adaptation. Of course, it's not gonna be scene for scene, guys. Like the way books are written and take place, especially first person books, and the way TV shows are written, they're very completely different in contrast. So of course there's gonna be like major differences in how it's an execution. And also again, like I was talking about earlier, there are some things that technologically just wouldn't work and would just be too hard to CGI that in. So it's like you do have to give them a little bit of leniency. You can't just be like, I want an exact one for one remake of a book. That would A, be boring because we already read the book a bunch of times, and B, just not be as interesting as we think it would be, because it's much better to show us from a third person perspective, and you just kind of get to see everything that's going on versus being stuck in Percy's like ADHD brain where you're just like jumping from A to B to A to B to A to B to A to B, But yeah, that's a little bit of what I wanted to say. I should stop talking because I think this video is gonna be so long. Okay, so the first notable change is also like a bit of it's an inclusion. It's a change from the book, but it's also adapting it to be like a new kind of scene for the show. So the show is introducing a lot more like he's introducing a few new characters like Allison Sims and some of the original characters that are in Kronos' army, because we don't know that many of the characters who are in Kronos' army besides like Luke and Ethan and Chris and a few others. But I also really like the introduction of Allison, because the only other female we know who's like in Kronos' army was Selena, but she was like undercover. So it's like I like seeing her, and I want to see what her beef with her dad is. And then I've also heard like rumoring that he might be replacing Luke's girlfriend, because like in the books Luke has a vampire girlfriend, like a monster girlfriend. So it's like it'd be a lot like funnier if it was Allison, especially considering how like Kronos is manipulating Allison. If like Allison was with Luke just to kind of be with like Kronos, I don't know, weird stuff. Weird things could happen. I have a big brain, okay. But the scene is a bit different. In the book, um, Grover has already kind of um found the fleece. Like he found Polyphemus' island, and Polyphemus has like caught him and been like, oh no, human. He kind of chases Grover he chases Grover all the way down to Miami Beach. And the book opens up with Grover running down Miami Beach and running into a wedding dress shop. Like that was Percy's dream. He like wakes up and he literally hearing Polyphemus screaming, give it back, like assuming Grover stole the fleece, like and he catches Grover. But in the book it's a little different. It shows a new scene, Grover finding his reed pipes for the first time, because we don't really necessarily know how he got his reed pipes. We just know he has them. So it's like seeing him find him on his little quest for Pan is so cool. And then he just so happens to be found by some Kronos people, including Allison Sims, who I actually don't mind her. Again, I love all sorts of female characters. Morally gray, good, evil. I support women's rights, because what I also support their wrongs. So I also love gingers. So it's a little different. So Allison happens upon them, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're Allison from camp. Hey, remember? Oh, you're part of Kronos' army. Shoot, I gotta go." And then he gets kidnapped by a tentacle, and it so happens to be dragged off to Polyphemus' island because it's a trap. So they also make that different. It's not necessarily a trap in the book. Like there is no like piece of fleece that's on islands throughout, the Florida Keys. I don't know what that tropical kind of section is called. But like Pan's just leaving stuff there so that people can get kidnapped by Polly. But yeah, there's a difference in how the fleece works and how like this is all happening, and it's a very big difference. But I don't know how I'm feeling about this difference. I kind of like it. It's not talked about now, but it is talked about in the later episodes. Yeah, the fleece. The reason that Grover finds a piece of the fleece on this magic island is because Pan and Polyphemus kind of like put them there. Because Pan gave the fleece to Polyphemus of all people, the person who's like most known for like eating satyrs, and so it's kind of like fucked up. But also it's like kind of like a distracting way to like get the satyrs to not find Pan, because Pan kind of just wanted to be alone. But yeah, very complex feelings on that. And also like, what is the tentacle that ends up grabbing him and dragging him to Polyphemus' island? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that's the first most notable change and difference that the show did. Also, another big noticeable difference is Tyson. In the books, Tyson is homeless. He lives in a refrigerator box. It's really sad, and he's taken into Yancey Academy through like a special program. Um, yeah. But in the show, I assume he's taken in by a special program, but Sally realizes he's a homeless Cyclops and adopts him, and he lives with Percy and Sally, instead of being homeless, which is I think is kind of cute. And then also, yeah, Percy from the start, not like directly from the start, but Percy realizes that first Sally realizes actually that he's a Cyclops, and so he knows kind of from the very beginning that he's a Cyclops, versus it taking a bunch of fire and Annabeth to realize that he's a Cyclops. Yeah, lots of changes, guys. My favorite detail about the show is that in the dream, Grover gets taken by a tentacle and it like wraps around him, and then in the show it cuts. So as it's Grover being pulled into the ocean, and then it cuts to Percy. I'll like insert a clip, and then it cuts to Percy falling out of bed. But if you look very closely, his blanket is wrapped around his one thing I will say is they said that they would make his voiceover more prominent in this season, and it really they did not do. Like I would prefer if it was in every episode. I know I'm a sucker, but I feel like they're just gonna do it in the first and last episode. Oh, and then sorry, I'm just like making commentary as I'm like watching the episode. Also he keeps in the show he keeps his photo of Annabeth that she sent him like on his mirror in the books. Really cute. He keeps it in his journal. Like he keeps it in his school notebook. And then at one point a bully finds a picture of Annabeth and is like, oh, who's this? And takes it and starts ripping it up in front of him. Yeah. And they make it very evident that Tyson is like smart very early again because Tyson lives with them, so he's like got his all little invention, has his like inventions all over the house. Um, in the books, that kind of show this by Tyson literally like making a giant explosion in chemistry class, and then like just like in general just being like kind of into it. Oh, okay. So what I said was wrong. Sally met Tyson while volunteering through a homeless shelter, and then took him in and got him to school with Percy. They're also including more that not just May Castellan and also the oracles of Delphi have like these prophetic visions. Everyone who like sees through the mist, I read like more who sees through the mist. It's very like it's very much like a clairvoyance thing for them. Like Sally is also like May Castellan, like she has prophetic dreams and she almost has like a very strong intuition when it comes to the godly world. Really funny thing about the books, instead of, Annabeth appearing out of the taxi and just like Loki like jumping upon the boys, she like has been following Percy around like all day, like in the morning and through to his classes, and he's like been noticing this like shadow, and he's like, what the hell is that shadow? And it's like gives you like creepy vibes, and you're like, oh yeah, that's Annabeth, that's just spooky. And then of course, Percy's getting bullied at school with Tyson, and then of course the giant cannibals come in, attack them with dodgeballs, attack them with giant flame balls. And Annabeth has to come save the day. But they cut it for time and budget. So I understand why they like moved it. And then also again, which I'll talk about a little more towards the later of the episode, why love-hate relationship with it for time and budget reasons. But it just you don't even get to see them go to school in the episode. You're watching them walk to school, and then all of a sudden Annabeth pulls up with from out of the Grey Sisters car, which doesn't happen. After defeating the bully and aka the giant, and this is like, yo, meet me in the alleyway. She puts on her cap and she runs off. And so Tyson and Percy follow her, and where do they end up? In the alleyway. What? And then they do some catching up, they do some talking, and but it's like, what do you have that with you? And Percy's like, what do you mean? Tyson's my bro. He's dada, I'm sorry. And I was like, okay, whatever. And she throws a golden drachma in the air, and it lands on the pavement, and she like mumbles, not mumbles. She says some like words in ancient Greek, and then it like turns into like this black puddle, and then all of a sudden the Grey Sisters cab like emerges from it. But it is kind of like a cab vehicle, but it is not orange. It is a black cab, and it says Grey Sisters on the side of it. So it is different. And they only had to pay the fare of summoning the cab in the book. They have to pay 3 additional drachmas after that for the fact that Tyson's a Cyclops, and they don't want Tyson to ride in the actual cab. That makes sense. Oh, also the books, other books like Rick makes a bunch of like references to Lord of the Flies. Percy's learning about Lord of the Flies in his English, so there's gonna be a few like kids gone crazy moments in this. I feel like there's gonna be like lots of like not lots, but there is references to Lords of the Flies, as the book progresses. Same with, of course, there being, references to the Odyssey. Also, like, Annabeth, like, really very strongly dislikes Tyson in the books, like, very heavily for most of the books. Like, in the books, she does have, like, a discomfort and not like for him, but, like, it's much more of, like, a bigger prejudice in the books, and it's very evident. Like, it's very evident. Next change. Okay, when they're, in the show, they get attacked by cannibals while they're walking to camp. For reasons, again, budget, time. Do you want to go into that all? Yeah, okay. So, in the book, Chiron is getting sacked actively. Like, they walk in after, like, the big battle, entering through camp. Chiron is being like fired. He's packing his bags. For what reason? Two. One. Thalia's tree has already been poisoned. It was poisoned like a few weeks ago from poison from Tartarus. So we don't actually get to like see Luke actually poison the tree. But the tree has already been poisoned by Luke, but we don't get to physically see that happen. And then also yeah, Chiron is being fired for that. But also he's also fired for being the son of Kronos. So he's probably and everyone's like kind of like suspicious of him. Yeah, really sad. But you see him get fired, and he's like, "Okay, guys, I have to leave. Bye. Don't believe." And then she like turns to him and is like, "Make sure you don't tell Percy anything about the prophecy, and you have to swear on the river Styx that you'll keep him safe and ominous things." Blah blah blah. It's like, oh my god, what are you, the Oracle? Um, but yeah. And in the books, instead of being attacked by the giants, they are walking into camp, and guess what? The border is already down. It's already been broken. Camp has been facing multiple attacks. They are currently being attacked by these bronze bulls that were built by Hephaestus. We actually see that scene in the unfortunate Sea of Monsters movie. I know. But there's two bronze bulls and they're attacking the camp. One is attacking Clarice. Clarice is fighting, and another one is coming behind her. And Percy's like, "Clarice, look out!" And Clarice gets distracted and almost gets her shite rocked. But then ends up beating the bull. And then Percy tries to defeat a bull. Doesn't really work. Tyson has to walk in and save the day, and that's when Percy realizes, "Oh my gosh, Tyson, you're a Cyclops." Yeah, that's how it all goes down. But they cut the bull scene, replaced it with a giant scene, and then just kind of cut Percy going to school. For again reasons because timing, they for some fucking reason seem to have a 40-minute like deadline. They can only do 40 minutes for a freaking episode of TV for a book, a really big book. And then also again CGI. It was easier to do the giants. The giants are not CGI at all. They are all practical effects, which is insanely cool. The only thing that is CGI for the fights is the actual like fiery cannonballs that they throw at the children and stuff. But like no actual CGI was used in that, so it's like A, you're not wasting time with all these extra fights, and B, you're not wasting CGI. And so that's why they don't do the bronze bull, because that would have been so much time for that fight and so much CGI when they could just cut it to just being that, just the fight with the cannibals, and then have it not be at school, have it be at the camp. And then it's also a lot of people did wonder how did Bellew's tree get poisoned. So it is nice that they do include that little bit of, not that little bit, but like they do include the scene of us actually seeing Luke himself poisoning Bellew's tree on Kronos' orders. Yeah, that's how it works. Yappy yappy yappy. And then also like the distance between Percabeth, there's it's not there's not that much distance between Percabeth. Like they do write letters to each other in the books, but like Annabeth doesn't tell Percy like all of like everything she did, like going on roller coasters and movies, that kind of stuff is like just added in for the show and for chemistry. But they have been writing letters to each other, but there is no fight over like, oh my gosh, she didn't have any drachmas, we weren't like Iris message calling, because in the books it is assumed they did Iris message call like over the past few months, and they did like send each other letters and stuff. They did email a few times as well. Annabeth emails him a picture, and then Percy like goes on his own and prints the picture out to put in his notebook, which is like, oh my god, Percy. Yeah, but that little like kind of like different, I didn't like being the mortal realm conversation that doesn't really like exactly happen in like the, oh, you didn't talk to me, we're just and you had Iris messages and didn't call. That's very different. And then of course Tyson living with them. Yeah, lots of crazy stuff happened. Also, they do this in both the book and the show, but they have multiple moments where it's like Tyson's like in like an explosion or got lots of fire, and it's like he's obviously fireproof, and it's like, Percy, you really thought he died in an explosion? He's fireproof. They also changed the type of poison. It's like just a random poison in the show, but it's literally poison from the depths of Tartarus in the books. Also in the show, they just make Percy like really smart for some reason. He has no idea who Tantalus is. He saw him in Tartarus in the fields of Asphodel. He like remembers like, he's like, oh yeah, you can't eat food, but he like straight up knows like you're cursed by the gods to not eat food. It's like, I don't know, they're not very good at like showing the conceptual, because again, he doesn't, when they go to Asphodel, he doesn't see Tantalus not being able to eat food in his eternal punishment, Also, Tyson's claiming is a little different. In the books, they allow him in. They're like, okay, weird ass Cyclops is here, and then at dinner time, they're like, where's this hoe gonna go? Like, we don't, where are we gonna put him? And everyone's like, not with me, not with me, not with me, and all of a sudden, like, Trident. In the show, Tantalus is like, get this Cyclops out of here, and Percy's like, no, he's homeboy, no, I know Dada, like, and then he gets claimed by Poseidon. Wow, la di da da. So many things are happening. I'm talking so fast. Also in the show, again, Chiron's not there. So Annabeth is pressing him. They're like, we need a quest to save Fly's tree, and they're like, how? In the show, not like in the show, but like in the book, Chiron is like, so you know what will save Fly from this poison? Long shot, but the fleece, we need the fleece. We need the fleece, guys. So he gets the idea of getting the fleece out of your head from actually being at camp. Um, and so they haven't really discussed at this point, at least episode 1 and those chapters, that the quest for the fleece will be like the reward for winning the cherry race. Percy is not like, at least in those chapters, he's not on house arrest. So it's like, why is he on house arrest? Also, in the show, Percy has a second dream about Grover in the first episode. And he kind of sees him like the second dream that Percy has about the empathy link. He doesn't have it in like those first 5 chapters. So that like little empathy link dream, the second one does not happen. He's been having weird dreams about Grover. In the book opens up with the the chase. But he has not like actually talked face to face with Grover in his dreams, or could like telepathically talked to Grover through the empathy link. And he doesn't do that in those chapters. It's like an inclusion of that. And also in this dream, Grover tells Percy, hey, the Golden Fleece is here. Really important thing, the Golden Fleece, and Luke's team is after it. I don't know why they're after it. And then Percy's like, where are you? And then he spits out those coordinates. I don't know if that happens in the book yet, because again, not that far in those chapters. Maybe I should have read those first. Oopsies. And then Percy wakes up. But that hasn't happened yet in the books, so that is a bit of like an inclusion for that. And yeah, Grover telling him about the Golden Fleece, Percy literally uses his magnificent brain for some reason to put 2 and 2 together to realize, oh yeah, we can use the fleece to heal camp. Don't necessarily know why, Luke wants the fleece, but Lukey Poo wants the fleece, but we can use it. And the fleece is in the same place that Grover's in, so let's just go get Grover and the fleece. Big brain moment for Percy. Big brain moment for Percy.
Okay, I don't have my microphone on me right now. Sorry, guys. I just finished all of the chapters that would be equivalent to episode 2. I've got all my notes down. Lots of things to say, lots of changes, lots of inclusions, lots of fun stuff. Some changes I'm mad at, some it's like, again, yeah, time and budget. And also, again, the biggest one is at the end of the episode when I'll talk about this right now, is when they take a speedboat to Luke's cruise ship. In the books, they ride 3 hippocampi. One of them is, our twin rainbow, our sun rainbow, Rainbow the hippocampi. They ride these hippocampi to Luke's cruise ship, right? And the hippocampi come up a lot more, throughout the book. We see the hippocampi in episode 6, I believe, in Percy Jackson. But like, we never actually physically see the characters ride them, and I understand that because, again, budget and time. It probably costs a lot to render them, and it probably would take a lot of time to, have the actors, set up a set and have them like, ride like fake hippocampi and like the CGI and blah blah. And it might not even look that good anyways. And remember, last season a lot of people were like complaining like, oh, the CGI doesn't look the best. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense. It was good. And I was even, I don't know if I'll find the tweet, but I remember someone tweeted like, damn, those hippocampi would not look good if they tried to like render characters riding them. So it makes sense that they didn't show us the physical characters riding the hippocampi because like the technology wouldn't look like as good as, it wouldn't look super good, So it's just like they didn't include those scenes and they replaced, the hippocampi with boat for that one scene. It's like, and it's an understandable change. Time and budget again, guys. But again, I also have a much deeper understanding of like how like the TV show and film world works because I want to go into it but in the art like side, like to make animated movies and TV shows and stuff. But also, I'm friends with people who actually do work in the TV and film industry, so it's like I've learned a lot more stuff as I've grown up, and it's like the shit takes time and money. Takes time and money. Yeah. Okay, now that I have my notes down, I'm gonna watch the episode and I'm gonna make commentary for you guys, edit this video, and hopefully post it. But before I go do that, I want to show you something. I literally can't move right now because my cat is literally sleeping on me. Like my legs are on an incline. I have a stool and my feet are on it. She's literally like lying down, going upside down, and she's just like in her deepest of slumbers. Coco, my sweet baby. But all her hair has grown back from her surgery, so like she's just a beautiful kitty now, and she's gained so much weight. She's a healthy weight. Honestly, my sister and I were talking. She's a little bit overweight now, but at least she is not, doing things that need us to give her thousands of dollars in surgery. But yeah, kitty is fine. Read my chapters. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna have a snack first though. I'm kind of hungry.
Okay, we're starting episode 2 now. I've got all my notes here. The first thing I will say is Tyson and Percy's relationship is very different in the books, especially in this book. Like, yes, he loves Tyson, as his brother and everything, but that kind of happens towards the end of the book. In the beginning, he's very resentful towards Poseidon and Tyson, and he's very much ashamed of Tyson, and people are like, again, bullying people, all throughout like his time at school. People bullied him for being friends with Tyson, and now we're here at camping. Guess what? Tyson's his actual brother, and people are bullying him for that, and he does not like that. He just like he hates it, and he also does not like that people are seeing like Tyson as a monster and then like comparing him to that and like calling him his like monster brother. There's a lot of like complex feelings going on there with Percy that we don't really get to see, which would be a lot cooler if we had more Percy's internal monologue, so we could see that. Yeah, just want to say that. In the show, it opens up with the Symphylian birds trying to attack camp, and they're like, trying to peck at the border, but the border's there again. By this point in the book, the border is essentially like non-existent. Percy notices the birds gathering in the forest, but he doesn't know what they are. He's just like, oh my god, these weird ass birds are in the forest, and there's so many of them, and they're like loud as fuck. But then, later as the episode progresses, they finally like start attacking once the chariot race ensues, and Annabeth's like, oh my gosh, there's a million birds, blah, 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 and again, Percy being on house arrest and like getting in trouble with Tantalus, that all doesn't exist, and like Annabeth sneaking into the cabin or sneaking into his like office. None of that happens in the book, because again, we see Chiron get booted in the book, unfortunately. I love that. I like that we like kind of see Chiron and he's like, oh, I'm visiting relatives and I'm in Miami, and we can like clearly see the party ponies in the back. But I hate that. Unfortunately, that's the only glimpse of the party ponies we get. Again in the books, Chiron is the one who kind of like tells him about the fleece. Then later on in these chapters, Percy has dreamed about but with his empathy link with Grover. And Grover's like, I'm in the sea of monsters, and it's here. It gives off the scent of Pan, and that's why it draws satyrs here. Blah blah blah. It's a trap. It's a trap. And Percy's like, what? And he starts telling Annabeth about this dream later on in chapter 7. Annabeth is like, oh my god, it could potentially save the camp. And Percy's like, what is it? What is it? And Annabeth is like, the fleece. The fleece. Do you literally not remember Chiron talking to us about the golden fleece earlier? Yeah. Again, they make Percy way smarter in this show. I kind of like it, but it's like, oh my god, Percy is not that smart in the books, y'all. He's smart, but he's not that smart. He's not putting two and two together. And again, Annabeth already knows about the great prophecy from before. There's no conversation between her and Chiron about what it kind of is. She already knows what it is. She's been knowing, especially since Thalia died. Again, and it's like Percy doesn't tell Tantalus the exact coordinates this early on. He tells like he's been trying to be like, we need a quest. We can heal by tree. Tantalus is just like, no, chariot race. And Chiron, he never says Percy can't go on the quest. He just makes Annabeth swear on the river Styx, which is like unbreakable, to protect Percy and do whatever it can to like keep him safe. Also, the conversation about the chariot race is completely different. Percy and Annabeth are actually originally, again, because the winner of the chariot races was never going to get a boon or quest from the gods. It was just going to be like, you get glory and the loser has to like wash the dishes. And again, there's no conversation between Chiron and Annabeth saying, don't let Percy go on this quest. So Percy and Annabeth are originally they're going to do the chariot races together. Again, that same line. My dad invented horses, your mom invented the chariot races. We would be unstoppable together. Like, come on. And so they're initially gonna like do the chariot race together. They're gonna like build a chariot together. But then they get a fight over Tyson. And it's like really dramatic and it's like so funny. Because again, it's like 13-year-old. It's hilarious. And they get into this fight over Tyson. And I'm just like, fine. If you like Tyson so much, go build your own chariot with Rachel. And he's like, fine, I will. And so they go and they build their own chariot. And also another difference is like not difference, but in the show, yes, they show us like Tyson tinkering a lot, but he spends in the book spends a lot of time in the Hephaestus Academy with Charles Brickendorf. It's like they spend a lot of time together. And he builds a lot of inventions in the forge with Charles, and like they actually a lot of the stuff they make for the chariot was built in the forge with the Hephaestus cabin. Who again they didn't mind Tyson. They actually kind of like were chill with Tyson because like again Hephaestus works with the Cyclops all the time. And his children are super chill with Cyclops. I hope we get to see more about the children of Hephaestus later on in the next season, because I really want more Charles Buckenbach exploration. Because he's one of my favorite characters actually, and I'm really excited for if we eventually get Heroes Olympus for Leo Valdez. He's one of my favorite characters the whole time, like in his Heroes Olympus. Oh my god. Also, really random bit in the books. They not all of the like the chariots have horses. Really funny. The Ares cabin, they have skeletal horses. And that's why they do so well. Cynthian birds, they can't attack dead horses. But yeah, it's really funny. And then also in the chariot race, the Apollo cabin is included as well. And the Apollo cabin and the Hermes cabin actually are the ones to take each other out first, and they like are just like fighting. And then it's up to Annabeth, Percy, Charles, and Clarice to finish the races on their chariots. And then eventually at one point Tyson knocks over Charlie, and then he's excluded. And again, same as the show, Clarice is the only one to actually finish the chariot race before going on to attack the birds. So many differences. And then also really cute thing that happens in the books is after Thalia's tree is poisoned, a bunch of the dryads and the satyrs, they go to the tree and they like start singing to it and like playing like healing songs on their reed pipes trying to heal the tree, and it's so sweet. Like it's a really minuscule detail, but it's so adorable. Also, what's his name? Chris is barely in this book. The Stoles are the ones driving the Hermes cabin. And Will is the one driving the Apollo cabin, and it's so funny. The scene where they used to, scare the birds away is pretty much the same, except they play Dean Martin to scare the birds away. Yeah. Love Chiron. His music taste is impeccable, guys. Oh my gosh, also there's this really sad scene when Percy and Tyson are like in the cabin at night and like they're about to go to sleep, and Percy sees all of like the scars on Tyson's back, and it's really sad, and they start talking and there's this one quote and it's really sad, and he tells Percy, "I will be a good monster." I sobbed. And again, this scene where like Tantalus comes for the whole scene is like, we need a quest to save Thalia's tree and it will be Clarice. Yeah, no, that doesn't happen in the books. After the bird attack, Percy and Annabeth decide, well, they first have to wash dishes because they caused a ruckus apparently, and they were just losers, so they had to wash the dishes. And they had to wash the dishes in like lava for some reason, because yeah, it gives an extra sparkle. So after they're at the campfire, talking about and Percy and Annabeth decide, no, we need to say something now. We know how to cure Thalia. We know what to do. We know Tantalus will never say yes to us. So if we say it in front of everyone and get everyone to get on our hype train, then we will, get on the quest and we'll do everything. So they go in front of everyone. They're like, we need a quest to heal Thalia's tree. I know we'll heal it. The Golden Fleece is where Grover is. I know the coordinates. Spits out the coordinates. Blah blah blah. And Tantalus is like, and everyone's like, quest, heal the tree, get the fleece. And Tantalus is like, okay, we'll have a quest, and who will lead it? But our champion, Clarice. Clarice will lead it. Shut up, Percy Jackson. I hate you. And that's like kind of how that goes. And then Percy proceeds to have another empathy link dream with Grover, and that's when he sees him in the wedding dress. And that's when Grover explains everything, and it's like, oh yeah, Percy. Well, actually, the wedding dress happens before, because that's when he says that he's in the fleece. Like he, that's where he is with the fleece. But yeah, Grover's like, yeah, I'm here where it is. I'm in this wedding dress. Save me, Lord. And we have an empathy link. And oh yeah, by the way, if I die because of the empathy link, you may either die or be, brain dead for the rest of your life. So let's hope we stay together, twin. Okay, stay alive, Grover. Also, if you didn't know, in the books, it's extremely specified that the Sea of Monsters, it moves around. And no one realizes that it's the Sea of Monsters because guess where it's conveniently placed? The Sargasso Sea, aka the Bermuda Triangle. And Percy's like, oh my god. The Sea of Monsters is the Bermuda Triangle, guys. Oh my god. Like, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. But again, yeah, Annabeth is the big brain behind most of this, and Percy's just like there with like all the other bonus backs. And again, in the books, there is no scene where Clarice is like picks her questmates. Percy and Annabeth have already ditched the scene before that happens. Yeah, there isn't that scene, and there isn't that like Percy with angst rant. Annabeth is like whispering to Clarice like, we can't let Percy be on this. We can't. And then she like doesn't pick Percy, she picks Chris. And then we get to see, the beautiful Chris and Clarice tension for this season. You know what? I'm down for all the ships in this, okay? I'm down for all the ships in this universe. I'm down for most. You know what? If you heard my ship's opinion on Percy Jackson, you would never shut me up, actually. But yeah, that like whole angsty scene, that does not happen in the books because there is no like let's not take Percy on this quest kind of like thing looping around in the background. But in the books again, there is that rule that the campers can't leave quest. But it's kind of changed. If you leave quest, it like no, the campers can't leave camp unless they're going on a quest. And if they try to leave, the harpies will attack them, and the harpies are like on night guard. We haven't seen or even heard of the harpies, I guess, yeah, in the show. It's like, oh my gosh, guys, we need to bring it in. At least like mention them. Like the harpies are the ones that clean the cabins and like stand guard. It's like, oh my gosh, guys, where are they? Where are my twins? Also, at this point in the book, that's when Tantalus decides to tell all of the children who he is and what he truly, like, did back in ancient Greece, blah, blah, instead of, like, Percy being like, the gods are punishing you for, feeding them your children. No, he's like, so the gods, they didn't like that I stole some ambrosia nectar, so they punished me. So I decided to kill my children and feed them to him. So the gods, like, so what? So what? And he tells this to all the children. He's like, so you all better, behave for me. Oh! Get this man out of here. Get this man out of here. That, like, little, like, kind of angsty moment where Tyson tells Percy that, Annabeth was whispering to Bronze to take him out. That doesn't happen, but Percy does, at one point after Tyson goes to sleep, realizes he needs to leave on his quest. He needs to get this done. He needs to rescue Grover. So he goes to the beach, yada yada. But he isn't exactly right in that moment intending to on the quest. He decides he just needs a moment to clear his head. So he takes a Diet Coke that he snuck into camp. He's drinking it on the sand, and that's when Hermes comes up to him, and the scene is a little different because, again, he has not met Hermes yet, canonically in the book, so he does not know that's Hermes. So Hermes is just approaching him, and he thinks, who the F is this random guy talking on the phone, talking to me? Yeah, the scene with the empathy dream is a little different, and again, it takes place a little bit earlier in the books than it does in the episode, so, like, again, the timing of everything is kind of, like, jumbled around, but I'm no writer. I don't write the show. Like I want to be a writer, but I'm not writing. I'm not the writer on the show, so don't look at me. So the dream is like a little bit different, but it's again all together the same. He's like, I'm in this dress, so Polyphemus thinks I am a female Cyclops, and I don't get kidnapped and eaten. Well, I'm already kidnapped. He's already kidnapped. He just don't want to get, eaten. So he's like, Percy, come. You have 12 days to rescue me, please. We have another visitor. She's back. The Great Coco has decided to make another appearance. By that I mean she really wants to be loved. Yeah. She really wants attention. Yeah, to the scene with Hermes. It's again very different in the books than the show. Percy isn't talking to his dad. He doesn't like have the attention to talk to his dad. He's just kind of like looking at the constellations and moping and drinking a Diet Coke. And all of a sudden, a man, in the weirdest outfit, like cargo shorts and like a button-up shirt, comes up to him and is like talking to him, and he's on the phone. He's like, "Who the hell is this man?" And he like, Hermes comes down and sits beside him. And the one thing I'm mad that they didn't include, which I guess again time and budget, but they did manage to include it in the Sea of Monsters movie, is that George and Martha were not included. Those are the snakes that are on his little staff. In the scene at first, Grover, he's on the phone, and the phone is like an antenna, and there's two snakes on the antenna, and Percy can literally hear them, and he's like, "Who are those?" And George and Martha are like, "Reveal our true forms, master." Not like that. But yeah. So then Hermes is like, "Fine, fine," and it turns into his big staff with the wings and the snakes. And then George and Martha are just like, yapping along in the background of the conversation. But I guess that would have been like a little confusing and hard to like navigate. And again, CGI. But I really, no, I'm kind of beefed about it. I miss George and Martha. I want them on my screen. Like, again, we got Nathan Fillion to do it. I'm sorry, that was Nathan Fillion as Hermes. That was truly a choice. That was something. But yeah, George and Martha, where are my twins? Where are my Pookies? I wish they were included. But the scene is just a little bit different about that. And then after he sees, George and Martha on their wings, he's like, "Oh wait, you're Hermes." And Hermes is like, "Yeah, no shite. Here's some stuff to help with your quest." And Percy's like, "Why are you doing this?" He's like, "There's a few reasons. Kind of want you to save my son." Percy's like, "He's not savable." He's like, "Whatever. Your dad can help you, but there's a ride there for you. You should hop on it. Here's some." He doesn't give him the bag outright. He gives him the thermos. Actually, the snakes vomit up this thermos. One of the snakes vomits up the thermos. That was Martha. And then George vomits up the pills. Because, like, they can hold stuff in their throats like snakes. They're weird. And Percy's like, "Great, thanks." And then, like, Hermes proceeds to give him, like, two yellow duffel bags. And he's like, "You put your stuff in there. See ya, Pooks. Here's your ship all the way out there." And it's actually not, his ship. It's, Luke's cruise ship. He's like, "You better hurry. The harpies are coming." And then Hermes vanishes. And then, Tyson and Beth come. They're like, "We heard screaming. What's wrong? What's wrong?" He's like, "I'm not screaming." And they're just like shitting along, and the harpies come after them. And that's when you have to go into the water. The hippocampi show up, and then they ride the hippocampi to Luke's cruise ship. I will say, Lin-Manuel Miranda is definitely a choice for Hermes in this show. I honestly, I think it's hilarious that they cast the guy with the most kids and the most unclaimed kids. They made him, Latino. That's definitely a choice. But also I just love Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he's so funny, and I think he fits the role. He plays it well. I'm gonna quote someone from Twitter. I don't remember where the tweet is, but the writers for this show were literally snorting lines of person math. Like, oh my god, it's so buzzy. Oh my god, and I'm like, they're 13. They haven't even like admitted that they have crushes on each other yet. Like, all these like original person math moments. I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm throwing up. They're so cute. I'm like, I want to play Barbies with these children.
Okay, y'all, I almost forgot to make an outro. I put everything away. I'm like, editing my video. I'm like, oh crap, there's no outro. And the mic is away, so whatever. Sorry, guys. You'll have to suffer with this horrible audio quality. But yeah, that's the end of the video for now. It's just getting too long, for my phone to be able to handle uploading it. So I'm gonna cut it off and I'm gonna do, every 2 episodes. I'll make a video covering every 2 episodes and every, couple chapters that are covering that. And I'll make this little series. So hope you guys really like this. If you do, subscribe and like, and hopefully you'll tune in to see the next one. And if you, really truly enjoy this video, maybe, consider checking out some of my other ones, or checking out the links in my description to see my TikTok or my art Instagram. But yeah, hope you Percy Jackson fans enjoyed this video. I'll hopefully see you in the next one, which will hopefully come soon. Bye.